one of the northern outposts of Formula One racing, and indeed we have Formula One cars here today, along with the supporting programme of Formula 2s featuring the best of the Northeast and the Scottish drivers. In the Formula Ones, we've got a basically northern field, although there are one or two drivers in from outside. There in view, though, two of the top Northeasterners, 199, Mike Close, and 452, Joe Jopling. And that, by the way, is the access through from the main entrance into the pits. One of the few stadiums here at Aycliffe where you actually have to drive through the grandstand to get through into the pits area. Indeed, they get so many cars in for the meetings when they mix in the Formula 1s and 2s, they have to park up the majority of the Formula 2s in the outside car park and then just drive the Formula 2s through into the main pits area. They haven't got room for all those transporters. Well, it's a fairly tight stadium in many ways and a lovely little tight track that produces plenty of action. Good crowd here today. Quite a few star drivers coming along today now to sample the action prior to the World Championship semi-final, which comes up here later on this season. So, obviously, if they're going to be going in the semi, they want to know what the track's like, and they don't come here too often. John Londo is a man that's seen pretty well here at Aycliffe. John, one of the top 3 men in the country on the National Points Championship. John from Clitheroe in Lancashire. 160 Andy Stott was the late starter to the season. We didn't see him at all in the first couple of months. Started popping up, though, towards the end of May, early June. Top-class driver based at Flopton in North Yorkshire. And from the other side of the hill, so to speak, Richard Ainsworth from Clitheroe, not from Clitheroe, rather from Ulverston in what is now Cumbria. Richard, one of the top drivers around this circuit whenever he comes here. Just see Rod Faulding in view at the back of that group of Reds. A good collection of star and superstar drivers here today at Aycliffe. As you see, we have a pace track here at this Durham Stadium. Waiting now for the cars to go around. 1 or 2 white tops that are pretty local in nature. We don't tend to see them too far away from here, although I would imagine from the fact that many of them are based in West Yorkshire that 1 or 2 of them could be seen at Bradford. There we have 414, Terry Forster, he's from Easington. 360 alongside him, Roger Brown from Accrington. Behind him, 76, John Spence from Halifax. So those are the white tops on the front row of the grid, as you see a tarmac track here at Aycliffe. And once more, a good crowd on a day that fortunately has been spared the rain that a lot of the country is getting. I certainly know coming up the motorway 2 here that there was plenty of rain about. But despite the overcast skies, it's still dry here at Aycliffe Stadium. Well, the cars are now being sent round on their rolling lap prior to the 16-lap Formula 1 race. Remind you, if you haven't seen stock cars too often in the past, but they're grading according to points scored, with the lowest scores being whites, the next highest being yellows, and then the next group being blues, and then you have the reds divided into stars and superstars, the very best reds getting that superstar status, complete with amber lights. And then, of course, you got the silver and gold roofs. Silver being Frankie Wademan, the national points champion, and the gold roof belongs to Stuart Smith, who is not programmed today, but we have got 1 or 2 surprises along the way here today. More of those as they come up later on in the programme. So it's 3 white tops. Taking a look at the 2 yellows now coming around the turn. You can see the width on the bends. It does make for very tight racing. 180 and 59 in view there. And number 180 in the yellow tops, just looking down the list, that is Glenn Lord from Blackburn. Or indeed it is number 80, not number 180. That's Jack Lord. Number 59, Nigel Buster Watson. There we have the blues. 140, John Russell. 367, Ian Smith is out there, along with 138, Trevor Todd. It's the reds, Graham Blundell. 156, 354, Richard Ainsworth. Mike Close and Joe Jopling behind them. Then comes Rod Faulding and Keith Riley. And those are the star drivers. And then we have the higher graded red tops, the superstar drivers. Andy Stott, 160, 53, John Lund. And indeed, that is it. Just the 2 superstars in this race, in that section. So those are the 2 that are going to work their way through the field right the way from the back. You've got to watch for the yellows making the early impression, though, once the white tops get themselves into a bit of bother. Although maybe one of the whites might just hold on. The green flag drops and the race is underway here at Aycliffe. White tops obviously leading off. It's 360, hits the turn first, followed by 414. That's Roger Brown from Terry Forster. Look at the cars coming through. It looks like Ainsworth has made the first break out of the reds. Joe Jopling and Graham Blundell tight going into that bend. Coming through now, number 80, Jack Lord. The yellows beginning to go past the whites. Blues coming up as well. Trevor Todd, and around the outside, Ian Smith. Quite close to Graham Blundell battling it out. 199, 156. Close, just getting the upper hand going round that section of track. And there's Ainsworth coming past the whites up number 76. And also John Russell, 140. John Lund just going past. He's got the break on Andy Stott. There's the race for the lead. Or indeed for second place. There is the leader, that white top coming down the home straight. 360, Roger Brown. That's the gap down to second place, Nigel Watson in number 59. Third place looks like it could be Ian Smith in 367. And indeed there is Smith being challenged by Richard Ainsworth, number 354. So Ainsworth, the superstar, rather the star driver of the current list, coming through well there. Unfolding, battling it out there. Mike Close and Joe Jopling coming out of the turn. Ainsworth closing in on Nigel Watson, number 59, in third place. Not too far away from the front now. Ainsworth now looking to put the bumper in on Watson, and he's through, and the white top's got himself into trouble. Roger Brown, so Ainsworth hits the front here at Aycliffe. Richard Ainsworth first in 354. Problems down the straight. John Lund taking a trip onto the centre green. Roger Brown 360 also in trouble. Collecting Nigel Watson, who gets Graham Blundell in the back. Blundell trying to get that car in the reverse, get it out of the trouble and back into the race. Looks like he's caught the back of Buster Watson. They're locked together. The white top there producing a lot of smoke. Roger Brown, after spinning out that turn and causing a lot of those problems. And Mike Close has joined Richard Ainsworth up at the front. Ainsworth going into lap number 156. Joe Jopling abandoning ship partway through the race. He's not had a good time lately. So it's Ainsworth versus Close at the front of the field. There we have the first two. 199 Mike Close against 354. Richard Ainsworth. Close trying to put the bumper in. Going past the 76. Back half of the white top, John Spence. The whites getting scattered early on in this one. Then that spit out for Roger Brown, finally finishing off their challenge. Yellows disposed of early on, particularly Nigel Watson's position, particularly inconveniently there right in front of our camera on that turn. Ainsworth and Close lead. Third place, I know, maybe a lap down, depends on how the lap score reviewed that long distance trip down the centre green. But currently holding third place. Coming down into the turn, it's Ainsworth. And 199, Mike Close second, Graham Blundell in 156 is a lap down. There's Brown's car parked up on the infield after those problems earlier on. Jopling's car parked up on the outside. Now Close has got to get Blundell out of the way pretty fast to mount that challenge on the 354 car. John Lund in close attendance. 5 laps to go here at Aycliffe as the yellow top goes wide. And now 4 and Paul Terry Forster getting overhauled by the chasing pack. 138 Trevor Todd battling it out with a fellow blue top there. And Close just cannot get past Graham Blundell. So Mike Close in 199's finally found the gap on the inside. I think you'll find Mike. Yes, there he is going through. Mike from Starbottom in North Yorkshire. So it's 354 still for 199. Looks like John Lund will take the third place prior to any possible marking down. Of course, his argument would be he had to take the centre green to get out and take a safe line. There indeed is Lund, 53. Ainsworth and Close now battling it out. 2 laps to go. And Close going up side by side now with the 354 car. Ainsworth's going to need that lucky horseshoe in the radiator grille now as Close comes in. Now just 1 lap to go. The duel here between Ainsworth and Close. Lund a fair way back in third. It's really between these two. Unless, of course, they both found each other up, and that gives Lund a chance to come through. Close is now going to make his mark on this final turn, trying to put the bumper in, looking for the gap. Ainsworth going wide, but he's got the speed and the lines come in for the win. Number 354, Richard Ainsworth, wins a classic race there with number 199, Mike Close. 53, John Lund looks like took third, with Rod Balding in fourth place. So Red Sox all the way there. I think there might be a variation to that when the lap scorers get down to their job, but it's their opinion as to whether John Lund cut the corner off, or indeed the straight off going down the centre green for safety reasons, or just to gain positions. That's always a matter of opinion. So Mike Close has to settle in second place as Richard Ainsworth comes in for an impressive win in Heat 1 here at Aycliffe. Marvellous race there, but Ainsworth held on beautifully when Close put the bumper in to make sure that he held on for the win. Close taking a good second place. Results now of heat number 1 here at Aycliffe in the Formula Ones. First was Richard Ainsworth, 354. Second, Mike Close. Third, John Lund, confirmed indeed in third. Fourth was Rod Falding. Fifth, the blue top, Trevor Todd. Sixth was a fellow blue top, Ian Smith. Seventh was Andy Stott in 160. And eighth was Keith Riley, 328. So Reds and Blues, they're going through to the final in the top 8. We have the cars now out for heat number 2 here at Aycliffe. Only 2 heats scheduled on the programme due to the number of cars. And of course, with Formula 2s in support, there's plenty of compensation for the lack of 3 heats. 8 qualifying from the 2 heats being staged. Frankie Wayman in view, and Ian Higgins, Captain Chaos, going around the outside. 190 Len Wolfenden's in this one, alongside 260 Dave Beresford. Good to see Wolfie here today. Not racing too often this year, but coming out today in front of our cameras. John Toulson there, 286 from Middleton in Teesdale, up near Barnard Castle, just up the road. A top driver here on the northeastern circuits, had a win in his heat and a second along the way in the last meeting here at Aycliffe. So Toulson and Higgins going around. As you can see, Toulson's lost his aerofoil along the way, and indeed just using, he's still got the supporting brackets on the top, giving quite a strange effect. So John Toulson and Ian Higgins line up on the grid, front row of the Reds. At the front of the overall grids, though, we have a couple of white tops, as usual. 421 novice driver Nigel Wilkinson. Now it looks like Brian Spate 374 on the outside. Indeed it is. Then we've got 4 yellows, and then into the main point scorers. The green flag's down and the race is underway. It's Wilkinson who makes the break in 421. Spate in second in 374. Already a spin out. Wolfenden and Peter Balding not even making it to the start line before they got into trouble. Dave Beresford behind them also held up. Well, there's the race leader, 421 Wilkinson, 374 coming under pressure from Richard Mason in number 202. Richard formerly a blue top, now down to yellow, going past 374, very few problems. So Mason coming up strongly in the 202 car. He's in second place. Based in Cleckheaton, Yorkshire. There's 421, Nigel Wilkinson, Harrogate. Also in Yorkshire in first place, with 1 or 2 Yorkies here. 421 then from 202. Bill Hemingway getting involved there with Robbie Craig going through number 29, Ian Higgins in front of Gary Heaton, 188. Frankie Wayman in front of Phil Hemingway there, so the Silver Room 212 is coming through strongly. And Toulson also coming along strongly, going past Les Mitchell, 499, and number 294, John Dowson. And Toulson just edging Dowson out of the way, very few problems. Toulson featuring strongly now through in the third place here in Heat 2 at Aycliffe. They can see the gap. It's Wilkinson first, Mason second, and Toulson third in number 286. Fourth place, slipping through nicely also, is Frankie Wayman in 212, with behind him in fifth, John Dowson, number 294. Toulson just picking his way through the field. He's got to get through fast. He's through into second. He's got to get through fast before Wayman mounts the challenge in 212. And there's the race for the lead. John Toulson hits the front. Frankie Wayman, meanwhile, is through into fourth place, now third, going for second on the inside of Richard Mason, going down into the turn. So it's Toulson 286 first, Wayman now second, John Dowson third in 294. Fourth is Mason, and fifth is Wilkinson, the novice white top. Holding on well. Peter Fawley going through, number 33. And Ian Higgins has found himself a bit of trouble. Crashed in the back by Gary Heath after taking out 421 Nigel Wilkinson. So Higgins now on the outside, living up to the nickname there momentarily. Now it's coming through the field. Blues strongly in that shot there, but Toulson's not far behind him, in fact. No, the halfway stage is reached here in this 16-lap race. John Toulson and Frankie Wayman battling it out. Going through the back markers, number 92, George Braithwaite. Richard Mason's hit problems, slowing up on the outside, just avoiding John Dowson's car, so the 294 man also in trouble. So it's first place. Oh, someone's lost the wheel. Wheel landing just outside the fence. Wolfen going through there, 190. Looks like that wheel came off the Peter Faulding car, number 33. And the driver getting well out of the way as the race is brought down to a crawling pace. The yellows are out. And Peter Faulding indeed parked up on the infield, minus the wheel off the front offside axle. Front axle offside, rather. So Faulding with a bit of expensive work to do to get back into racing in the Constellation, obviously out of this heat. Takes his helmet off and wonders what on earth went wrong there. Well, now, while all that happened with the yellows going out, one of the white tops has been trapped a lap or so down between first and second. Waiting to get things back on an even keel now here at Aycliffe. Well, indeed, the fence has been broken there. And promoter Ron Dean in the red jumper surveys the scene. It's 29 years now since stock car racing started here at Aycliffe, and Ron Dean's been at the helm for a number of those years. So there will obviously be a break before the cars can get back underway while that bit of fence is repaired. As you can see, the cables here at Aycliffe are fairly slack between the posts. The posts are a little spaced out, and it does mean that there's a fair amount of bending in the ropes whenever somebody goes into them, and indeed one is broken down at the bottom. With the repairs complete, the green flag goes out and the race is back underway. So it's John Toulson leading in number 286. Frankie Wayman's already disposed of the back marker in 212. Then we have Len Wolfen coming through in 190. So there is one of the tail enders, 374. Ryan Spate now getting edged down though. 190, Len Wolfen coming through strongly. Up into third place now is the Wolfen, I think you'll find at 190. 421 spun out on the turn, and that's the car of Nigel Wilkinson. Ian Higgins going past John Dowson, able to get back into the race there with the stoppage after pulling up during the early part of it. Frankie Wayman with the task now of reeling in that John Toulson lead. 286 quite comfortably placed, but you can never really feel that comfortable when you've got Sills and Smiler hot your tail. Nor have you got Wolfen and not too far behind, although the Wolf's got quite a bit of distance to make up on Wayman in second place. So going down as the turn, 3-lap marker now being shown. Then Wolfen coming through the field, he's got to take out 421, goes through on the inside. No contact necessary. Wolfen out in a Mike Close spare car, complete with marquee sponsorship. Same sponsorship that 452 Joe Jopling enjoys. John Toulson and Frank Wayman battling it out though, first and second. Wolfen in a good way down in third. You can see him on the turn. And White's on back marker. It looks like Higgins is up in the fourth. Going into the final lap now here at Aycliffe. Higgins trying to take George Braithwaite out. He's got Phil Hemingway in front of him as well. I think one of those is going to be placed probably fourth. Well, John Toulson wins the race. Checkered flag had gone out there while we were watching those cars. George Braithwaite dumps into the fence. First place then went to John Toulson, 286. A marvellous race between him and Frankie Wayman in 212. Third place goes to Len Wolford then. So 286, 212, 190 is the result of Heat 2 here at Aycliffe. I think we should be in for a fascinating final, because Ainsworth's gone well in Heat 1, Toulson well in Heat 2. He really does go well here at Aycliffe. That could be quite a confrontation in the final. In the meanwhile, George Braithwaite is attended to in the car. St John's in fast as that 92 car was embedded into the fence. And Braithwaite looks like he's not too good at the moment. Well, John, a good win there in Heat 2. You seem to go well here at Aycliffe.
Yeah, I always go well on my home track. You know, it's feel comfortably and have the car set up right for the job.
How about things on other circuits?
Well, I don't do so well on other circuits because my engine isn't really for big circuits. It's more for a small track.
Built for the purpose.
Pardon?
Built for the purpose, then.
Yeah, it's built for tarmac, really. You know, small oval racing.
What's happened to the wing? I see you've still got the supports on the roof for it.
Well, the wing isn't very good on this short track. I think it slows me up.
So you just use it when you think it's appropriate?
I only use it on big tracks, yeah.
How do you see things going in the final?
Well, hopefully, you know, I have a little bit of alteration to my suspension, which I know where it was wrong in the heat, and hopefully I'll come through.
Best of luck. Thanks very much, John.
Thank you.
Results now of Heat 2 for the Formula 1s. First, John Toulson, 286, then Frankie Wayman, 212. Third was Len Wolford in 190, some experience showing there in the first three places. Fourth was Phil Hemingway in 474, then Ian Higgins took fifth place. Sixth place was Gary Heat, 188. Seventh was 412 Dave Tapping, and eighth and final qualifier after that one, a white top, Brian Spate, number 374. Those eight go through to the final. Well, from Formula 1 racing, it's over now to the Formula 2s. 1300cc limits on these cars. And we've got a completely different field of cars to those you would see down in the West Country. We've got Northeastern and Scottish-based drivers. No one up from the West Country for today's meeting, at least programmed. Good group of white tops being sent around. It is healthy to see how many novices there are up here in the Northeast. And, of course, we've got the Skull Bandits here. There's just enough Formula 2s for straight races. No heats, qualifiers and so on, just three straight races, with the third race being labelled the final. 644, Paul Broach, and 744, Russell Taylor, will be out to continue the mini domination of this circuit that we saw last time we came here. And Broach took one race, and Taylor took another, but that monopoly was broken by 725. Brian Robson from Chesterfield Street, who broke that monopoly with a win in his final one. So this is one of our rare opportunities to catch up with the Scottish base drivers. And indeed amongst the current Scots, they have the national points leader. There he is, Jimmy Moody, number 7. So Jimmy Moody following round the two bandits. There's plenty of tension when those mix, I can tell you. Scots aren't always too happy about the bandits' tactics, but now the cars come down the home straight. The green flag is shown, and the race is underway in the Formula 2s here at Aycliffe. Two whites heading into the turn. Now looking at the yellows coming through, one white already losing place, and we've had a pile up on the bend. There's number 29 hitting problems, that's John Rigg. And looks like 944, John Mason from Stockton also spinning out. So they're waving yellow flags around as 504 goes down the back straight. And 504, a late registered driver this year, and indeed the race is being brought down now to a straightforward crawl, single file around the circuit. No passing allowed now with the yellows out, as those two cars must now be brought out of the way and onto the centre green. This number 18 now has an obvious problem with his front axle and the steering. Yes, with the wheels doing a very good impersonation of someone rather bandy-legged, spinning out at both sides, one facing north, one facing south there, number 18. Ian or Trevor Jones, depending on which way you look at it. They showed us Trevor Jones in the programme, Ian Jones in the national grading list and registration chart. John Riggs got his problems as well, a flat tyre. That was one of the cars that was involved in that pile-up on the turn. They're getting them out of the way to make room for the others to come through. And Mason's car also being withdrawn from the fray. So that's national points leader, number 7, Jimmy Moody, who moves into place now as we prepare for the restart. 5:04 and 7:18 at the front. 5:04, unfortunately nameless, the late addition to this year's gradings. Just behind is 8:54. And he indeed is another case of that 7:18 on the outside. Can't give you a name for that one. That's Athol Thompson, one of the Scottish drivers. So the whites heading down the back straight, looking now to hit the throttle hard as the green flag is shown for the second attempt at Heat 1 for the Formula 2s. Yellows still being shown. Waiting for that green flag now as the pace van comes down the home straight. And the speed picks up, the green flag shown, and the race is back underway. So it's 5:04 who leads off going down into the turn. 7:18 Thompson in second place. The first break out of colour ranks. Bandit showing first out of the reds, all three of them. In fact, Dennis Whitfield up to red during the current period. Harry Simpson, the odd man out there, number 31 from Alfred in Lincolnshire. So it's 5:04 from 8:54 at the front of this Formula 2 race, and a complete pile up there. Well, Whitfield's involved, Russell Taylor also involved, John Londo, number 70, parks up on the outside. And indeed there is a rollover, number 78, and that's the car Ron McVicker, one of the Scots. Well, needs severe problems on that turn. Also 9:25 and 5:92 hitting trouble. 9:25 Graham Wilson and 5:92. The other yellow top is the car of Jerry Johnson. So now they're trying to get that 78 car back on all four wheels, and indeed they're able to get it back. So we're waiting now to have a third attempt at Heat 1 in the Formula 2s. And drive straight. Oh, it's not, there's no driver in there. The car was pushed off and goes straight into the tractor, just avoiding the Skull Bandit car there. Well, the driver surveys the damage, walks away shaking his head. And now the tractor comes in to haul the 78 car out of the way. Well, indeed, that car with the damaged wing at the back of the car is number 871, Ray Armstrong. Looks like it'll be okay for the restart, leaving the entangled metal in place. Cars now on the rolling lap once more, in what is certainly an eventful Heat 1 for the Formula 2s. I wonder how long before this one gets stopped. Looks like they will be put back in great order. Three bandits in view there. Dennis Whitfield at the front of them, Russell Taylor on the outside, and Paul Broach on the inside line. So it could be said to be a true Scotland versus England battle here today, although it's I think it's only Jimmy Moody of the Red Tops that's come down today. Jim Wallace is programmed, but I don't think I can see him out there. Looking now for the cars to build up the speed for a third attempt at Heat 1 here at Aycliffe. And the flag is shown. 5:04 leads off, presumably he's done it twice already. Indeed it is. 5:04 leads off. Athol Thompson in second place. And that's showing well with the flag. Off the handicap, Thompson's been edged down by 8:54. So it's 5:04 from 8:54 at the front of the field. And problems again. 3 8.26, yellow top heading off onto the infield. 8.26, or rather 8.26. Steve Clark hitting his problems now with a couple of other cars. 5.04 from 8.54 first and second. We've got a name for 8.54. It is in fact Dave Chance. Sitting face on the side of the bonnet. And spin out on the turn. 5.92 hitting problems there. Jerry Johnson. And 5.04 also going out. That's given the break to the lead for that car there, the yellow top. And 5.04 just getting his car out of the way inside. So 26 up there. Being challenged now by Jimmy Moody, number 7. So Moody's come through the field strongly. And 26 identified by Nick Vaughan on the side of the car as Moody goes through. So the current points leader, at least on the June gradings, out of... Well, there have been allegations of team racing against Scott Banks one place, but the Scots seem to take that view. Harry Simpson's on the battle through at the back of the moment, number 31. Cruising through at the moment. Jimmy Moody's really done the passing by getting past those two. He's just past the lower graded drivers get in front, but looking now for the challenge from those other red tops. It's Jimmy Moody who leads at number 7. You see really why Moody has been knocking up the points this year. Of course, they do race weekly at Newton Grange, just south of Edinburgh. That's the regular venue for the Scottish Formula 2 drivers. They do get plenty of meetings in. Just down in other parts of the country. The best can get is monthly, or maybe on the East Coast. 2 meetings a week, certainly during the high season. Big course to Skegness. And of course, monthly here at Aycliffe. Well, it's half full in North East, but of course all the West Country tracks. A place like Bristol and Taunton. You know, but some Taunton now underway as we hit the summer. There's Moody looking down for the second place car, probably that yellow top. Gold Bandits coming up strongly. Harry Simpson following them round all the way in 31. Now can Simpson put the bumper in on Dennis Whitfield maybe there. Halfway stage now of this race. 16 laps for the Formula 2s. Jimmy Moody hugging the inside line, going around the bends, moving out wide on the straight. Classic racing line, having very few problems here. Not much competition at all for Moody in this one. Winning as he chooses. 4 laps to go indeed. It was a little bit more. I think it's just the question of the track line wondering on the rostrum wasn't actually being shown. Really just cutting through the field. But it is surprising that the Skull Bandits aren't making more of a challenge in this one. You can see it's a long way down to Whitfield and Taylor. Indeed, it's Russell Taylor who's got the break on Dennis Whitfield, 7.44 from 8.44, and Harry Simpson stuck right in their tail at number 31. So Bandits down the back straight, but Jimmy Moody's long gone as they hit that turn. Coming into the final 2 laps here at Aycliffe. Now Jimmy Moody, there he is, he's got the length of a straight lead over the 2 Skull Bandits, so that's Moody through. Looking down the field, and there are the Skull Bandits. Going into the final lap, I think you can safely say it's going to be Jimmy Moody's race. So Moody coming off the turn now. And in for the win, the winner of Heat 1. For the Formula 2s, Jimmy Moody, and whilst I'm sure you'll agree, it was a bit of a pedestrian race. All the work done early on, Moody through. Excellent win for him, going for a bit of spinning Frankie Wayman style. And celebrates his win in fine style there, but it was a long, long way down to second place. Results now for that first Formula 2 race. The winner by a clear margin, Jimmy Moody. Second place, 7.44, Russell Taylor. Third was Dennis Whitfield, 8.44. Fourth place, Harry Simpson. Tailing the 2 Skull Bandits all the way around. Then came 7.91, Neil Anderson. Then car number 26, we don't have a name for that driver. 8.71 finished in 7th place. And 8.71, looking down at the list, was Ray Armstrong. And 8th place was 8.54, and that was Dave Chance. Those then are the first 8 cars in Formula 2 Heat 1. It's last chance time now for the Formula 1s coming out for the consolation race. Those drivers that failed to qualify from the first 2 heats now have the last chance to get into the final via this one. 16 laps with the top 8 qualifying. Pace builds up, looking to see now who of the star drivers is out in this one. It's 4:21 who leads off, the novice driver Nigel Wilkinson. He was taken out by Ian Higgins, I think you'll find it. He's number 2. Looking down for the Reds, looks like we've got Graham Blundell 156, Joe Joplin 452, Dave Beresford having all kinds of car trouble. Behind him 33, Peter Faulding, who lost a wheel in heat number 2. I think it was number 2 anyway. Number 80 going out wide there, the yellow top driver, Jack Lord from Blackburn. Of course, trackless now, or at least doesn't have his home track with the closure of Blackburn last year. Yes, Northwest certainly getting thinned out with tracks from Rochdale closing this year as well. Nigel Watson in view there, 59, and Richard Mason getting edged out. Graham Blundell behind. John Dowson seemed to momentarily stall the 294 car. Russell with one wheel on the infield. Dave Beresford behind 260. There's Faulding, Blundell and Jopling all getting well stuck in. Dowson just behind them. Then comes number 80. Lord and Mason hitting further trouble spinning out in that bend. Mal Brown having problems collecting Peter Faulding en route. And Faulding's lost that front wheel completely. The flat's higher and also it's gone completely off. And of course that is the replacement for the one that came off in his first run, in his first attempt here. I don't think he's sure what's happened to that wheel, trying to get back into the race. The wheel's certainly the downfall of Peter Faulding here today. 360 out in front, and that is Roger Brown from Accrington in Lancashire in first place. So Brown surviving the problems. 4:21 in second place. Nigel Wilkinson, Ken Brown, or is it Mal Brown? It's difficult to tell the difference. Getting edged out by Nigel Watson, number 59. Wilkinson hitting the fence in 4:21. And Nigel Watson getting spun out heavily. Bumpy ride there and collecting 360 Roger Brown. That puts 260 Dave Beresford out in front. So Brown getting caught there by the car, pulling across the track in front of him. 260 Dave Beresford hits the front. Looking down for second place, Blundell showing well, plus Jopling. And Faulding's got out of the car. It's not been the best of days for him. He's failed to finish in both his attempts at racing here today. Dave Beresford leading in 260, and it looks like this should be a pretty comfortable one for him. Just wondering where the challenge is going to come from. 76 John Spence going to one of the white tops. Whitfield firmly placed on the infield, along with the rear wheel as well momentarily. But Beresford with a commanding lead here. Closing in on number 34, Mal Brown, one of the back markers. Joe Jopling also up there, but collecting Brown. And 360 is having a rough ride here today. Jopling goes through, though, taking up the challenge. I think you'll find Jopling's in second place. There is the leader, the man that Jopling is chasing, Dave Beresford. Had severe problems with the car at Crewe. And today at Aycliffe, and problems in his first one. Looks okay now, though. Drop Mal Brown, one of the back markers well behind him now. He's cutting his way through the field, looks safe for qualification into the final. Looking down now, 414 Terry Force, standing problems. John Dowson going through, Robbie Craig collecting the back of Forster's car there and nipping through. There's one of the yellow tops, can't see the number. Richard Mason parks on the infield. It's number 80, Jack Lord, who was involved there. And Forster getting piled up on the inside of him. Both cars going trap fashion onto the centre green. Well, definitely rushed up there. Terry Forster trying to get back in the race, I think. Cut that bend out completely, so he'll be marked down the lap, I'm sure. Meantime, Dave Beresford closing in on the unlucky Roger Brown, 360. Brown's efforts met with an absolute disaster in this consolation race, with two cars completely fouling him up. Beresford though having few problems. So while Beresford is clear, we're going into the final 3 laps. There's Beresford's main rivals, Blundell and Jopling. They're having a battle down the order. Blundell just getting the drop on Jopling there, going past the 76 back marker. 2 laps to go now here at Aycliffe. 76 spinning out, taking John Russell with him. Well, 76, the car of John Spence from Halifax. Mal Brown from Liversedge coming through 34. Roger Brown having a rough time of it. Flouncing the fence there. He's still going to go for it, though. Blundell and Jopling now with a bit of space to have their own private battle without the back markers getting in the way. And the checkered flag now comes out for a very comfortable winner of the consolation race for the Formula Ones. Number 260, Dave Beresford, winning with comparative ease there. So Beresford wins in the consolation. Looks like Blundell and Jopling also getting through. So Dave Beresford having a few problems getting through, but you've got to spare some sympathy for number 360, Roger Brown, the white top, a very determined drive, but getting hit all over the place during that one. Graham Blundell and Joe Jopling having a fascinating race, but just couldn't mount the challenge. On the winner, Dave Beresford. Looks like he's cured those car problems now. Well, Dave, congratulations on getting through to the final, but you've been having problems with that car, haven't you?
Yeah, thanks very much for the congratulations. I have. I've been messing about with it since last year to try and get it to run right. We've had all sorts of problems, carburation and ignition trouble, all sorts. Last couple of meetings, it seems though I've got it going all right.
What happened to you in your first drive today?
Yeah, I knocked the axle back. The front axle, I caught it on somebody and knocked it back, and the bang knocked a plug lead off, so I was only running on 7 cylinders and no steering, so I pulled off. The thing was, after that I went in consolation, we forgot to put bloody petrol in, so...
You're sweating on that one then?
Yeah, I was,
They run better on juice, don't they?
They do,
How do you see things going in the final? John Tilson goes well up here, doesn't he?
He does, There's so many top-grade drivers. I'm setting off at the back. It's a bit tricky, really. A bit awkward to get through, but I'll be trying. I'm always trying.
Best of luck. Thanks very much, Dave.
OK, cheers.
Results now of that Formula One consolation race. First, Dave Beresford, 260. Second was Graham Blundell. Third was Joe Jopling, so that's how that battle finished. Fourth was John Russell, the leading blue top. Fifth was John Dowson, 294. Sixth place, Robbie Craig in 62, the top yellow in that one. Then came Mal Brown in 34, and eighth, indeed, was a white top, number 76, and that was John Spence from Halifax. So they all qualify for the final. Formula 2s are back out now for Heat 2 of their 3 straight races here today at Aycliffe. 854, Dave Chance in the front row of the grid, in the pale blue bodied car with the white roof, of course. On the outside of him, couldn't quite see the numbers that came off. The green flag is shown, though. Let's see this time whether the Skull Bandits come out to challenge. Dennis Whitfield isn't in this one. I can tell you he's got car problems. So the 844 Bandit won't be out of this. Yellow's splitting well there. Looks like it could be Brian Gray who's made the break. Oh, problems there. 29, 25, 64 all getting involved. And 29 had his problems earlier on. Ray Armstrong caught the car, caught the wheel, in fact, as he went through. 29 and 20. Well, 20 Steve Franklin, 29 is John Rigg, and 564 at the back of them all. Looking down at the list is Nigel Preston. So an absolute riot nearly happening there on the turn as those cars went out. John Rigg, who spun out in the first race, went again. He's lost, it looks like, both wheels off the rear axle. No, indeed, it's just the one. But still got 3 wheels on the car. That's a consolation for John Rigg. But once more, he hits trouble early on in the Formula 2s. John being helped out of the car. Looks like he's shaken, but not too badly stirred. Able to walk away from the 29 machine. He must be wondering when his luck's going to change here today. Race is back underway with the green flag being shown after the wreckage has been withdrawn from the circuit. It's 854 Dave Chance, who leads them off. They're back in great order at the start for a complete restart of Heat 2 for the Formula 2s. So Chance first, second is 504, and indeed can't get a name off 504 even from control here at New Aycliffe. So 504 being challenged now by the yellows. 18 coming through strongly. Jones at 504 finally spins himself out to get himself out of the picture anyway. So that's one respect, not knowing his name. So 925 also hitting problems now, and that is the car of Adrian Wilson. He pulls up on the infield, gets out of the car with a touch of disgust. Paul Broach really going well in this one. He's got Harry Simpson tucked in behind him. Simpson must like following the Bandits round. He did so in the first race. Now he's following Broach this time. As Broach carves his way through, Simpson follows. They're in second and third. So it looks like the main race here is going to be between these two cars once they can dispose of the current leader. And it's still Dave Chance, 854 from Heaven on Tyneside out in front. Yellow Top going wide there, 592. Ismail being able to hold it in against Jerry Johnson. Simpson still tailing Broach. It looks like he's almost being towed along. Jones spinning up there, number 18. Getting back into the race though. Just in front of Ray Armstrong, number 871. Well, there is Simpson, doggedly following Broach all the way. Simpson from Alford in Lincolnshire. Broach from Leamy Bar, North Yorkshire. Now Simpson tries to put the bumper in and just gets himself. Well, he tried to put the bumper in on Broach there. Moody's spun as well, and Russell Taylor's got him. Well, finally, after following the Bandits so closely all the way around, Simpson's got to know them more personally there. Touching the back of Broach's car and just spinning out completely as he tried to attack Broach. And Russell Taylor collecting him afterwards. Jimmy Moody spinning the car around, I think, trying to get out of trouble, but he's lost placings now. Russell Taylor trying to regain his placings. There's the wheel hanging off that Simpson car. More problems. Yes, the 2564 car from that first crash still parks up there by the wires. And the car parks in the middle of the track. I wonder if that's still Jimmy Moody's. Paul Broach it is, though, who's closing things down out in front. The halfway flag is out. So Broach leads in the 644 car, the Skull Bandits. Just threading his way around indeed, Jimmy Moody's car, number 7. So the Scots won't be getting any points in this one. Well, we were hoping for a Broach-Moody contest here today. Well, there was no contest in Heat 1, with Broach pulling out and Moody winning easily. Now it looks as if it's going to be Broach who wins this one with Moody out of the race. Maybe in the final we might see something. Mind you, Moody has gone from that turn, so he's back in the race. He's a lap or two down, and Paul Broach has pulled up, I think you'll find. Yes, there it is. Broach having his problems in Heat 1, and they've followed on in Heat 2. So Broach absolutely helpless there, can't keep the car going. 4-lap marker is out. Well, we're looking down for first place. There goes the signal. I think it's that blue top that just went past. It's number 18. He did have a brief spin earlier. It looks as if it is Jones who leads. Trevor Jones, let's print in the program here from Whitby. Ian Jones per the registration list. 504 spinning out again, trying to get back in. Well, he had to get himself off that track fast because the cars were bearing down Jimmy Moody, in fact, while he's coming back in. I think you'll find that Jones spun out earlier on and lost a lap, but no, indeed, he did spin out, did a complete circle and came back in. Really relying on the starter here, changing it down to 1 as number 18 went past. It could possibly be Russell Taylor. Taylor tried to erase any doubt whatsoever. I feel it could well be Jones. Indeed, the checkered flag is out, and it rises, and it's for number 18, Trevor Jones, Russell Taylor second. That's, of course, subject to confirmation. It looks as if the Whitby-based driver got it there, despite a brief spin-out. But problems for Broach and Moody opened up that race. Russell Taylor having to settle for second, I think you'll find. We'll wait confirmation from race control. It looks like Trevor Jones got it. Or was it Ian Jones? Officialdom still can't make up its mind. Number 18, though, the winner of Heat 2 in the Formula 2s. Well, Paul, it's been a difficult day for the Skull Bandits, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've had a bit of bad luck, you know, but hopefully we might just cure it in this next race.
It's what's been the specific problem with your car?
Yeah, first of all, that car spun at the bottom corner. I went on a curve and set off and I stripped the gearbox. And during that last race, we put another gearbox in it.
And it just gave way, did it?
Yeah, it just lost second gear. I had every other gear, but the ratio wasn't set up for the track, you know. So I had to pull out of that one. That last one, it just lost its spark for some unknown reason. We've got it sorted now, ready for it next, and so hopefully we'll have a win.
Dennis Whitfield's been having his problems as well, hasn't he, number 844?
Yeah, he's been having a bit of bad luck lately. Dennis put an engine in this morning. He had one tightened up last night at Newton Grange.
looking forward to a real challenge on Jimmy Moody in the final now.
Yeah, well, me and Jimmy had a good race last night at Scotland in the final. It sort of set off to rain. There's a final set off, and we were sort of like changing places all through the race, but you know, look at him, Jimmy had the best and he come fourth. He come third and I come fourth, but you know, you satisfy the public. That's what they're there for.
That is indeed. Thanks very much, Paul. Look forward to seeing you in the final.
Okay.
Taking a look now at the top 7, indeed only 7 finishers in Heat 2 for the Formula 2. First place was number 18, and that was Trevor Jones. Second place, number 744, Russell Taylor. Third place was number 592, and number 592 was the car of Jerry Johnson. Fourth place, 854, that was Dave Chance. Then came 134, and that was Tom Snedden, or indeed Jimmy Snedden as it's programmed here today. Sixth was the mysterious number 504, and seventh was Jimmy Moody. So Jimmy able to recover from that spin out and being parked up for, I think, nearly 2 laps there. Able to come back in and get 7th place and final